not a topic to lead with. Not yet, and perhaps not ever. Tenacity and trust are things that must be earned. The only way to answer the question was to make something up, to find something that lay on the periphery of my life and bring it forward. Now was the time to find that safe spot. I talked about university and how happy I was to be there, how invigorating it was to be the old lady student in the classroom, to be around young people, to read and learn. I talked about how long I had waited to do that. I was always putting the people I loved best first, something she had intentionally forgotten to do even though we had been raised in the same home where it was taught. There had always been someone else who came first, someone else who needed my attention. Bills to pay, children to raise, and that eternal drive to get ahead. Always hoping for that financial nest egg. But those eggs broke every fiscal quarter in my household. Then one day, I decided to do something that I had always dreamed of, and that dream had come true. I made myself sound like a hero on the phone. Sister cooed her approval and told me that I was brave. Perhaps I needed that reassurance. She asked about our siblings. I had no idea how any one of them was doing. Since I started university, every one of them had dropped out of my life. I was tired of the way they made fun of me, of their lack of support. Like contestants in a reality TV show, they got voted off one by one. Staving off the rising feeling of negativity inside me, I simply told her that I had no idea. How could someone close a door for 11 years and then expect to pop their head in and ask, "How is everyone?" I told her that these days, only me and my sons remained in each other's orbits. I had no new information to offer her. We were about 2 minutes into our talk when I decided to put up the barrier. Anger came over me. Don't indulge it, I told myself. I tugged at the edges of the cloak of shame that was choking me, fighting it. I straightened my shoulders. I pulled the cloak away from my throat. She was the one who had hung up the phone 11 years ago. Who was she to be able to dial out and ask, "What's new?" I held my ground behind the barrier. Sister seemed stuck at the other end of the phone, looking for things to talk about, or wanting to say something but not knowing how. Eventually, she told me that she had lost her only child, her son, her boy Matt, who is 3 months older than my Lance. She had not lost him to death, but to the divorce. I reminded her that no matter how old children are, divorce affects them in different ways. After a short silence, she remarked that she had heard that my partner and I had split up years before. I nodded and then realized she couldn't see me nodding from the other end of the line. "Yes, the best thing we ever did for each other," I said. I am sure she could hear the smile in my words. It's the truth. His leaving was the best thing we had ever done for each other. I smiled because I remembered the day that he left and the sadness I felt at the time. But 3 weeks later, an incredible sense of happiness had flooded me. I had jubilantly gone out and bought a new queen-sized bed, scrubbed the walls, hung up all the pictures I was never allowed to show off in all the decades of our marriage. Within 3 weeks, I had become ecstatic over the fact that one of us had had the good sense to make a change. My heart was free at last. She returned to the subject of our siblings, and I felt pressured to come up with an answer. I told her that I really didn't know any of them anymore. Once our parents had left this world, so had the one thing we had in common. There was nowhere left to go home to. Without the parents to hold us together, the old family squabbles resurfaced and our relationships disintegrated. It all fell flat like a deflated balloon. She giggled. It reminded me of being little girls together, laughing ourselves to sleep in the double bed that we shared. Sometimes I missed that. The small worries and stories of small girls. She was fun once. She asked if I'd visit her on the next long weekend. I wanted to, but I was afraid to. She went off on a long description of how to find her country home. She'd left Banff and moved about 2 hours away into the country.